welcome to this first video of YouKeepMeGoing.com. I have the pleasure to have with me one of my favorite people, Dr. Rich. It is a life coach and a business coach and all of the above. Good morning. How are you?
Great. Fantastic, Lourdes. Great to be here with you and with our public today.
So I'm going to start with the first question. Everyone wants a better life, and it seems to be a movement of life coaching. What is a life coach?
Okay, now there's all kinds of different varieties of life coaching. Life coaching, the way I do it, I kind of look more towards the model of athletics. If you have a person that's an Olympic athlete, for example, he always has a coach. Now, you would say the coach is not a better player than the athlete. Of course, he doesn't do the event any better than the athlete. But what the coach offers is a view from the outside of what the athlete is doing, which the athlete cannot do. He cannot see himself from the outside. So that's what I offer people. I offer them a view from the outside of how they're playing that game of life so that they can play the game more effectively and achieve what they want to achieve, which is basically peace, love, and happiness.
Peace, love, and happiness. I think that we all want that. And there are, occasions where we go and try to find the answers with a psychologist or with a therapist, and you leave and you don't feel like you're being understood. And it's not that they're not understanding you, is that sometimes we don't understand each other. I mean, ourselves.
Exactly. See, the problem with trying to get the answers from the outside is like the song when you say looking for love in all the wrong places. The answers are not on the outside; they're always on the inside. And you pointed out something really interesting is the limitations of language. When we communicate with words, we communicate in concepts. What I offer people are experiences of their spiritual side. I give them experiences of what it's like to be connected with that universal mind so that they can now begin to answer their own questions. I call that process self-mentorship. Rather than having an external mentor, you go to your internal mentor inside, and we always know the truth. The thing that gets between ourselves and the truth is our thoughts. We want to think about things too much instead of feeling what is really going on. If we feel what's going on, we know what is right for us all the time.
That is very interesting. And you talked about the conscience and how important it is and how much we don't use it. So tell me, what is the conscience?
Yeah, I use the term more consciousness as opposed to conscience. Conscience is more like, I grew up Catholic, and to me my conscience was, the way I was taught, was something that told me when I was committing a sin, making a mistake, etc., etc. But consciousness is just awareness. It's just another word for awareness. The more aware we are of how we think, the more aware we are of how we want to feel, of what we want to get out of life, then the more likely we are to bring those things into our lives. It's just kind of like tuning into the right TV station to get the programming that we want.
How many people, in your opinion, are getting up in the morning, going to work, living their life without being aware that they can have a better life?
I think the majority of people are going out in their woods. Now, to assign a particular percentage would be very difficult, but I would say definitely the majority of people have no awareness that they could put any direction in their lives. Most people have the experience of life is happening to them. Wayne Dyer, I think, once said, it's like you're out there living your life like you're an extra in your own movie, and you don't realize that you're the writer of the movie, you're the protagonist, you're the producer, you're the editor. You can make your life happen any way that you want it to happen. But most people live it like it's happening to them all of the time.
And not only that, but I think that there are a lot of people that play the victim in their lives, which is, very difficult when you're going through a situation like that, being a victim.
Yes, most of that, and that is very, very much so encouraged by the media. It's very much encouraged by the consumer population, the consumer mechanisms, which is that you are experiencing something bad in your life. Look at all these terrible famine in the world. Look at all the terrible wars. Look at all the terrible disease that's out there. Look at the state of the economy. Look at all the things, the bad things that could happen to you. So they can continue to encourage that victim mentality. And the more of a victim you feel, the more you behave like a child. And people that think like children and feel like children are a lot easier to control than people that think like adults. And I think that's a lot of the mechanism behind all these things. things is keep people thinking like children and they will be obedient like children. Unfortunately, we also feel impotent like children when we live our lives that way. And one of the things that I want to do with my messages is to empower people to realize that the childhood is the road that brought us here. It's important. It's our roots. Our childhoods are very, very important. And usually it's a history of survival that we have as children. That history of survival is oftentimes missed by people. When they look back at their childhood, all they see is trauma. I look at my childhood and say survival. That's a wonderful thing about it.
Wow, and that's a different way of seeing life. And
Absolutely. Definitely. I'll give you a quick metaphor. Let's say you're a beautiful tree. You're sitting there by the pond, and you're looking at the beauty of your branches, your trunk, etc., etc. You look, all of a sudden, you look down and you say, "Oh my God, what is that? It's my roots. Look, they're hairy, they're dirty, they're going all over the place. I'm going to make myself more attractive. I'm going to cut my roots off." So when I cut my roots off, what happened? The tree dies. The same thing happens when we try to take that child of ours that has some experience or whatever, we try to bury him in the past. When we bury that child in the past, we lose the strength of our roots. That is where our strength lies. If we had a difficult childhood, I say to you, good. That means you're a lot stronger today because you survived all that without the resources that you have as an adult.
that is an interesting conversation with yourself that you'll have to have, and that's exactly what we're going to try to do. I personally feel the need to let the world know that there is a better life, that there is a chance, and there is no other person better than Dr. Rich. So I'm thankful that you're here, and I'll be looking forward all of your videos. Tell us a little bit what to expect from these videos.
I think one of the exciting things that we're going to do in these videos is we're going to try to create, actually we're not going to try, we're going to do it. We're going to create a bridge between your mind and your spirit so that you can escape all the trappings of your mind. You can escape all the illusions of your mind and make that journey into spirit where you have access to all that universal intelligence. There is a sense that out there in the universe, all kinds of ideas are out there that are floating that give us exactly what we want. All we need to do is to be able to tune in. The more we can create bridges between our mind and our spirit, the more access we're going to have to that information.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a very adventurous question. For all the people out there that are watching, some of them might be having a great life, some of them might be struggling, not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. For those people, can you assure them that there is a way to get out of there, and you will teach them how to do that?
Absolutely. There's one thing that we definitely want to do today is to assure them that the way is there, that this can be accomplished very, very quickly. It doesn't have to take months or years. You don't have to go up in the mountains of Tibet and meditate and things like that. You can actually access that very, very quickly when you learn how to tune your body and tune your mind. And that is definitely one of the things that we're going to cover.
Wow. He's Dr. Rich. I love him. He's going to teach us a lot. So I will see you in the next video, and it's going to be an adventure that you don't want to miss.
Absolutely.